I fell in love with Tazin Lake Lodge pretty much as soon as I landed. Just, it's a beautiful lake. It's a unique setting. I mean, northern Saskatchewan, you can't go wrong up here. Once you start catching the fish, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's all about the fish, really. Everything else is just a bonus.
You kind of got to experience it for yourself. Seeing those, like, you know, with that 45-inch lake trout with your own eyes kind of mind boggles you and makes you want to chase it more. So I feel like if you come up and experience those fish for your own self and put your own hands on them, it'll open your eyes and you'll want to come back for more and more every year.
You know, I think there's only a few places in the world that you can catch that size of fish, and you don't have to go across 40 miles of big open water, or, you know, like here you can fish every day no matter what the conditions.
If you're looking to catch a personal best lake trout or northern pike, there may be no other place better to do it than here. And if you're passionate about big fish and you want to do it, whether you go on trips like this all the time or you're looking for a once-in-a-lifetime experience, this is the place to go.
Oh, this guy came out of nowhere.
Ooh, that's a nice sized fish. What?
Absolutely fantastic.
The new fly fisher is supported by Tourism Saskatchewan, Orvis Fly Fishing, Scientific Anglers, Trout Unlimited, WeatherTech Canada.
Our adventure began with a flight from Calgary to Fort McMurray, and after a quick overnight stay, we headed to the airbase. This is a very special trip for me, as I'm joined by my good friend Caitlin Martell. Caitlin is one of the editors for the new Fly Fisher, and this will be her first ever experience on a float plane. And boy, did she luck out. The flight from Fort McMurray to Tazin Lake Lodge really shows the wide variety of incredible scenery here in northern Saskatchewan. The beauty of northern Saskatchewan never fails to amaze me. The topography of this region is incredibly rich, and Tazin Lake Lodge is nestled in the heart of this stunning landscape. Located a short hour plane ride from Fort McMurray, Tazin Lake is truly in the middle of the wilderness. As we unloaded the plane and met the team at Tazin Lake Lodge, I could hardly wait to get settled in and come up with a plan for the following day. This is a special adventure not just for me, but for Caitlin, as it's her very first fishing trip ever. While she does have some fishing experience, we decided it would be fun this week to do a little experiment. Caitlin will be fishing with conventional gear, and I will be fishing with fly gear. We could hardly wait to get started, as Tazin Lake is renowned for the quantity and size of the fish it possesses. Our main guide this week is Trevor Montgomery, one of the owners of Tazin Lake Lodge. Trevor has been fishing in northern Saskatchewan his whole life, with years of experience as a guide. For our first day of fishing on Tazin Lake, Trevor suggested that we split up in order to cover more water. I hopped in the boat with Trevor, and Caitlin headed out with her guide for the day, Kent. Once we reached our first location of the day, it wasn't long before Caitlin was into the fish. After a few small lake trout for Caitlin, Trevor suggested we headed over to one of his favorite bays, as the temperatures had finally warmed up. Finding bays where the sun has warmed the waters is key to locating roaming lake trout and pike after ice out. It's late spring here at Tazin Lake Lodge, which truly is prime time when it comes to fly fishing. Both northern pike and lake trout are cruising warm, shallow bays, perfect for all anglers.
There we go.
A little better fish?
Yeah,
Good.
I think you got it right up in the top of the mouth. There we go. Excellent. Perfect, thank you.
There we go. Moving in the right direction anyway. Ready?
As you will hear, my voice is very raspy. This is thanks to a bad cold I had just gotten over.
Ooh, we got a fly that they're biting anyway. That's a good sign.
Very, very good sign.
Absolutely. There you go. Good set.
Thank you. Alrighty. Whoa. I just saw a flash. It looked
Right on. Nice fish.
growing. Alright, buddy.
Right on. Good fighting, Jenna. Keep
Thank
going.
you. Well, don't congratulate me yet. We don't have the boat.
Oh, that's okay. You hooked
Oh,
it. You have
man.
good form. Okay, just keep it away from the boat for a sec.
Trying.
Excellent.
Wow.
Good job.
Holy smokes. Tearing up.
We went down the lake earlier today, and the water's pretty cold up in there, so we decided to come back and stop and hit a spot on the way back to camp here. It's one of our trophy pike spots, and we got in here. Water kept warming up. It was 52, 53 degrees out front. As we moved farther into the bay, it got into the mid 60s, right where we want it. And of course, when that happened, the fish get active. So we got in there, got a few small ones, and then hooked into a 41 incher. Jenna landed. Mud stick bottom bay, so it really absorbs a lot of that heat, and then the wind's blowing in too as well, and it's pushing some of the warm water from the other side of the bay into here too as well. So it's some great conditions. Eelgrass is just starting to grow, so we're fishing in some of that areas where in another week or a few days there'll be eelgrass all over and it gets harder to fish it. So this is a prime time to be able to come and fish some of these spots for that.
With an epic first day on the water under our belts, Caitlin and I couldn't wait to see what the rest of our adventure on Tazin Lake had in store.
A typical fishing trip at Tazin Lake Lodge, what we call the Tazin Lake experience. Fly out from Fort McMurray on an airplane, on a caravan, an amphibious caravan. It's usually an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on the wind. You arrive at the dock, you land right at the dock, show you your assigned cabin. All the accommodations at Tazin Lake Lodge have hot and cold running water, of course showers, flush toilets, wood stoves currently. Tazin Lake Lodge is located in the northwest corner of Saskatchewan. It's a very unique area. It is in the Tazin Lake upland region. It is totally different than anywhere else you'll find in Saskatchewan. It's like mini mountains. We're 25 air miles north of Lake Athabasca, and we sit 550 feet in elevation higher than Lake Athabasca. So in that 25 miles, it's quite a jut up in elevation, which kind of makes it unique for, I guess the seasons, even the weather. We have a lot of sand, a lot of northern shield, a lot of the rocks and the mountains are red from the iron in there. Tazin Lake is a deep lake, 25 miles long and 12 miles wide. We have two major species that we fish for, northern pike and lake trout. We have, world-class fishing for both those species. Earlier in the year like this, where it starts out where the water's pretty cold, so we're looking for warmer water. A lot of times early in the spring, we're gonna fish a little bit shallower, and then as the season progresses, everything moves out into their preferred temperature of water, and then we're gonna fish in those areas.
For our second day on the water, Trevor, Caitlin, and I were joined by guide Rylan, a Saskatchewan local with a deep passion for fishing and guiding. We loaded up the boats and set off to see what this day had in store.
So we started out the day in a bay right attached to the main lake, and the water's pretty cold, but it's a spot traditionally where we can catch some lake trout out front on some reefs, and then we come back into this little pocket. There's a really good population of kind of lake pike in here where they come in and out of the lake all the time into the bay, so you never know what's going to be in here. We're just today we're casting just a cyclops. That's like a rainbow colored cyclops, and just slow retrieval just because of the temperature of the water. We're about 51 degrees right now, so it's cooler than optimum, but this is a prime example that pike will bite outside of temperature ranges. Even cold, it's just as they go slower, so you got to be a little bit slower to make sure that you're going to be able to get their interest.
And I'm on a fish. I have a feeling that this is going to be fun.
There you go. That's a better fish. So one of the techniques we use is we use a number of different types of terminal tackle. It could be a spoon, it could be or a pallet, or rattle trap, all kinds of different floating or sinking lures. And when we find something that's working, if we're fishing with somebody who's going to be fly fishing, or we're going to switch to fly fishing ourselves, often what we're going to do is try and determine a fly that's going to imitate the type of spoon or the type of lure we're using. So for an example, using a big spoon with a flash on it, we'll use a big streamer fly in with a little bit of flashy type material in it. So something that happened this morning to us is Caitlin was doing very well as we pulled into a bay. She was using a red and white lure with a little bit of silver on it,
And so we're catching some fish on it and doing quite well. Jenna was struggling a little bit more, having some issues trying to figure out the right fly. When she called and we talked to her and told her what kind of fly or what kind of hook we're using, the color pattern and the retrieval speed, once she matched the same lure, colors and weight, then she did very effective and started catching fish all of a sudden. So, and Caitlin's got one on.
As the weather warmed up, Trevor suggested we head to another bay on the lake, known as the Aquarium.
So we just came into a new bay. This is the one we call the Aquarium. It's a nice little kind of back in. It connects to the main lake, but you go through a little narrow channel. So it's kind of protected. The water, it's quite a bit warmer here. Out front it was, the main lake was in the 40s, low 40s. As we pulled into the bay, 50 degrees, and then we snuck through the channel into the main part of this bay. It's up to, we're 65, almost 66 degrees, so it's optimum temperature. So what we're doing is we're trying to match, I guess, the hatch and the size of the bait fish this time of year. One of my favorite lures is one of the little rubber storm pike, or a little rubber pike. They're really good colors, and it's a natural bait here. A lot of the fish catch them, a lot of fish eat them. One of the pike we just caught had another pike in its belly, so that tells you, okay, match the hatch. So I put on that pike, and then boom, right away we got a decent sized fish. So. So whether you're conventional fishing or fly fishing, the lures that you're using can be very comparable, and you can, I guess, be able to fine tune it by using the same color pattern and using a similar weight of lure and a similar technique for retrieval. Whether you're using a spoon and trying to match the colors of it, say you're using a daredevil or a red and white, having a red and white fly, a little bit of flashaboo inside of it to give it the flash of the similar to how the spoon is going to flutter. You can come up with the same result, and it's very comparable. Fly fishing is very effective, but so is conventional tackle. Often conventional, you're going to cover more water, but fly fishing is more effective just because of the natural presentation. There's a couple big ones swimming around in here.
There we go.
A trophy pike for Caitlin. A perfect end to another day at Tazin Lake Lodge. One of the most exciting opportunities here at Tazin Lake Lodge is the chance of landing a ginormous lake trout. While this is usually only attainable by trolling with conventional gear, depending on the time of year, it's possible for fly anglers to hook into one of these beasts up in the shallows. Rylan took me over to cast a shallow rocky point adjacent to deep water. And Trevor took the time to teach Caitlin all about trolling for lake trout.
So basically you're gonna be trolling like this. If you get a bite, all you want to do is go, oh, like that, and then I'm going to hammer the engine, that'll drive it home, and then just hold on. Basically what we're going to do, and we're up in shallow, now we're only at 40. We're going to turn around, we're going to do a loop around, and we're going to target those 3 fish we see. We know they're laying there, we know, and pretty much a lake trout, we can get our line in front of it at the right depth in the right direction, we're going to get a bite almost every time, right? When we started the day today, we have a little overcast conditions, a little wind out of the southeast here, so we decided we were going to come out and try for some lake trout. I've been trolling for about an hour, and then just kind of nothing was happening, so we went for a hook change. Just came up over a ledge and boom, got into one. So stuck it hit pretty good. We're just fighting it now. Still got 110 feet of line out, and we're just going to take a time and let it fight the hook, see what happens. So when we get them up to 40, 50, we start watching for bubbles, because a lot of times that's when they'll expel their air and get the line, expel their air and get it all kicked out. So we'll see bubbles come up, and that tells us that, yeah, they're I guess getting in tune for the depth and the pressure they're at.
After the first massive lake trout, it was game on.
don't pull drag like that right off the hammer until they realize what's going on. So this is where we got to be careful, because this is almost always where it's lost, is the handover, yeah? So just keep lifting it up to keep that tension on the top, reel down. Keep that in. Okay, you just make sure you keep that line tight. Keep reeling your way down.
There we go.
When it's fighting and tugging, don't reel until you start to get loose, right? Then see, when it's loose, you reel. Perfect. Okay, I'm just gonna speed reel in. Just keep the pressure good. You're doing great. Reel it down a little bit, yeah.
Is
So
it
just
off?
keep that bend in. No. I don't
Oh no,
think
he's
so.
not off.
Yeah, he's on. We'll see him on the finder here right away.
This has got to be the biggest fish and the best
Just let
fight
him run.
I have ever experienced in my life.
Awesome part is you hook that fish as soon as you hit the bottom. As you can tell, this one's fighting a whole lot different than the last couple. This is going to be a real nice fish.
Tazin Lake is home to massive lake trout, and this is amazing. $45. Good. 24. So is that 45 by 24?
Yeah, 45. Okay, right on. Well, trolling along. Caitlin just took a break. She let down. You seen a couple arches. She got down to the bottom and boom, right away as soon as it hit the bottom. Beautiful big laker. This one was 45 by 24. So just a gorgeous fish. Nice big fatty.
Biggest fish I've ever caught.
Excellent.
Though I caught some nice 4 to 7 pound lake trout on a fly, I was keen to connect with a really big fish. We moved to a different part on the lake to target northern pike for the remainder of the afternoon.
Probably my biggest #1 tip when it comes to fishing for pike is bringing your fly back to the boat. And that was the first thing that my dad taught me. That's what Bill Spicer always told me when it comes to fishing for pike. These fish, especially the super big pike, will follow your fly all the way back. They're not going to be shy of the boat. So stripping your fly all the way back, twitching it a few times beside the boat, it can really produce big fish, and you don't want to be pulling it right out of their mouth. You could be missing out on the fish of a lifetime. monster fish, and I'm actually shaking because that is a huge fish, and it took it, slammed it right in front of me, and I'm gonna keep tight to him, let him run if he needs to, but oh my gosh, oh man. All right, buddy. It is always just like catching huge fish is always a thrill, but when you get to see the takes in this crystal clear water right beside the boat, it takes it to a whole new level. That's such a big fish. I'm so happy I got the hook set on that fish. Like I said, the fly was just like right in front of the boat, and he just whoop, sucked it right up. Oh man, what a fight, what a thrill. All right, let's get the hook out of this fish and then take a look. Man.
Well, with a fly rod, often you fight them. The fight's a little longer than conventional tackle just because of the give and that stuff. So sometimes this fish can get a little stressed. This guy, he's a little stressed on the side, so we just want to make sure. They get some red streaks on the sides, right? So we just want to make sure we're going to get them out, get our little bit of video, a couple of pictures, back in the water.
47.5.
Perfect, beautiful fish.
On this trip to northern Saskatchewan here at Tazin Lake Lodge, I primarily used 9 and 10 weight rods. While I came prepared with a variety of different lines, I was primarily using a full sinking line on my 10 weight rod and a floating line on my 9 weight rod. It's really important to come prepared with a variety of different lines. You might be fishing shallow bays of 3 feet, or you could be out in deeper water at 12 to 15 feet. You really never know where the fish are going to be as the water starts to heat up and they're moving from deep to shallow. Coming with different lines and coming with a variety of different flies and different weights really allows you to explore and figure out where the fish are going to be taking.
Caitlin and I headed out to fish in the same boat today. And what a start to the day it was.
There we go. That's cool. What? He's using this new topwater one that he got. Whoa! Double header.
Nice. Oh, silver pike. Nice.
After a beautiful double header, we decided to start fishing for shore lunch.
Fish. Man, they fight so well. Holy smokes.
Mother Nature presented an incredible opportunity when one of the pike we caught for shore lunch showed us a great example of why it's important to match your fly or lure to the bait fish in the area.
So when we're out fishing, a lot of the times what we're trying to do is match a hatch or match whatever the forage base is that we're fishing for the species. And we just caught a pike and we opened him up to fillet him, getting ready for lunch. And when we were doing that, he had a burbot in his belly. So we took the burbot and we were just, you're looking at some of the flies and we try and compare what we're trying to do to mimic or match it. So, some of the different flies we have there, very similar color pattern, similar size. And that's what we're really trying to do a lot of times is match, very similar size to it and the same color. So even some of the smaller pike lures, it's very similar how a lot of the lures are set up. He also had a Cisco in his belly. So, a big one. This is the rattle trap that we really run with, and it's very similar size-wise, as well as even some of the other shapes of a lot of the spoons, very similar size. And then even getting into some of the flies that are a similar pattern, a similar, depth and size. So that's what we do, match the hatch, and often it's going to provide good results.
One of the best parts of any fishing trip is shore lunch. And the experience at Tazin Lake Lodge was no exception. Fresh fish, fresh air, and camaraderie. What more could you ask for? After a delectable shore lunch, we headed back out on the lake for one last chance at a trophy northern pike.
Whenever you're in a new location, fishing a new body of water, or it's your first time fishing for the season, or even after a change in weather, it can be hard to key into the fish and what kind of retrieve is going to work best. So my recommendation is always to try a variety. So maybe you start off with a slower retrieve, a few pauses, slow strips, and then work your way up to a fast retrieve if the fish still aren't biting. It's really important to experiment, figure out what they're keyed into, and that's really what's going to get you into the fish. Spotted by Trevor up on the sand flat, and the water's just so clear you can see it. And I cast to it, missed it once, cast to it again, missed it again. He had it in his mouth and I lost it. I didn't set the hook hard enough, and followed it around, waited, and took it again. Trevor told me exactly what to do, light twitches, hard twitches, and man, this thing is a monster.
Absolutely, a beauty, eh?
Holy smokes.
Good day to be fishing on Tazin Lake.
Every day is a good day to be fishing on Tazin Lake.
Absolutely.
Quick. 47. Yeah! Well, unfortunately, our time at Tazin Lake Lodge has come to an end. Caitlin and I have had just such an incredible week here with Trevor and the other guides, learning more about lake trout fishing and catching just monster northern pike. It's been a really, really fun trip, and if you'd like to learn more about Tazin Lake Lodge or our show, visit us on the web at www.thenewflyfisher.com. From all of us here at The New Fly Fisher, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.
The New Fly Fisher is supported by Tourism Saskatchewan, Orvis Fly Fishing, Scientific Anglers, Trout Unlimited, WeatherTech Canada,